You know, there's a special place in hell waiting for me for my crimes against humanity, but even I realize when those who have been damned deserve redemption, and Ratchet and Clank has risen back from the Shadow Realms against all odds, and they've just really almost kind of maybe knocked this one almost like to third base or something. Now, this game franchise really started getting a little weird down the line before falling into that weird third-party stream train of mediocrity that other similar, like, 2000s-ish platformers got into. But I really think that Ratchet and Clank 2016 on PS4 has successfully pulled itself out of the World War II trenches to deliver an okay-ish, semi-good 3D platformer shooter thing that is honestly a fun time. Now, a lot of the weapons are really fun and really satisfying to use, and I feel that that's really the selling point behind this game, because as far as platformers go, it's not really too big on jumping. It's more like running and gunning, but it's like clearly a platformer more than gunning. It's just the platforming isn't done as well as the gunning. There's a lot of really cool weapons you can use. When you level things up, they get really satisfying. The way you chain things, instantly destroy bosses super fast. It's just really a great time when it comes to weapons. The environments, I really like the environments. They're really cool. The variation, the feeling, even like the little light tones and little fairy-like gimmick music they use is satisfying enough. But the one thing I don't like about the level design is it's really short. All the levels are really short. If you're going in and out, you can probably beat a level in like some in 5 minutes, some in 10 minutes. They're really short. Considering there's 13 levels, you can probably beat the game if you really try, maybe in an hour-ish. So that's probably my biggest flaw of the game. Is probably well, actually, that's not the biggest flaw, but that's probably the thing that hurts it the second most ish, besides its actual bad aspects. The story is really funny. It's told from the perspective of Captain Quark, who's in prison at the beginning of the game. When he narrates the story, he breaks the fourth wall constantly, and it's just great. It's not he does it in a way that doesn't ever feel overbearing, like that the stupid Uncle Grandpa style, where like, oh man, this is really just too much fourth wall breaking. It's really just a great, slightly past satisfactory setting on how much they break the fourth wall. I really like it. Like half the time, the guy he's explaining it to is a prisoner at the story, and like the prisoner tells you that he saw the movie that this game is based off of, so like he knows that some of the things he's saying didn't happen, and like he'll go back and change the story. It's really good. It's really funny. Now, on the 3D platformer scale that ends at Super Mario 64 and starts with Bubsy 3D, I'd say this is about a 69% up there. It's not too bad, not too good in terms of having that feeling that it's trying to go for in its own genre. Now, I gotta say the worst thing about this game is the Clank missions. The Clank missions they're not bad, but they are so inconvenient. They're not fun. So it starts out, every Clank mission pretty much starts out the exact same way. You are running from Victor Von Doom, Victor Von Ion, something like, I don't know, you're running from Victor, and it's just this running towards the camera segment, and they do it 5 times. They do it 5 times. It's not any different. It's the same thing 5 times. The first 2 are identical. There's nothing different whatsoever. Same corridor, same everything, even the same dialogue. The next 3 all happen at like towards the end of the game, and they're in a different corridor. However, like the dialogue doesn't even change. Neither do the way that he tries to shoot at you. It's the same thing. The same thing happens 5 times. It's always slow. It's always easy. It's always not fun. And then immediately after it are some extremely boring puzzles that aren't mentally challenging. They aren't mentally taxing. They're just time consuming. Anyone can beat them. Why even put them there? They don't advance the story. They don't do anything. They don't add to what the game is. They actually hurt the game. I'd say the Clank missions are the worst aspect of the entire game. And the first run is not so bad. The second run, because they have a challenge mode, is when you start realizing, hey man, this is not cool. This is really, really taxing my opinion of the game here. It's really hurting. Now, I say second run, and I say that with a whole handful of salt, because of my story in particular. Now there's one thing that drives a man to insanity, and that is the basic human instinct that is wanting to complete any task in front of you. Now, I have 100% completion on the game itself, but when it comes to trophy completion, I have 99%. I've gotten all the gold bolts, I've gotten all the weapons maxed out, I've gotten all the stats maxed out, I've gotten all the Omega weapons, I've gotten all the cards, I've gotten all the special Rhino cards, and I rebeat the game in challenge mode. I've done everything. However, the Death by Disco trophy is glitched, it's broken, it's filth, it's racist, it won't pop, it won't pop. See, so you have this item called the Groovatron, and it makes enemies dance. It makes enemies dance. The whole point of that is they dance, and then they can't not dance, so you can blow them up with your other weapons in the meantime. But the whole point of the Death by Disco trophy is that you have to use it on every single enemy. Now, I've done this game 4.5 times. 4.5 runs have been completed on this game. I beat it once. I beat the game once to beat the game. I beat the game twice on challenge mode to max out everything that was left over. It's kind of like a new game plus. I went back and did literally everything. There's nothing else to do besides this trophy. Everything was completed by then. Everything was maxed out. All the money I'd ever need was used, purchased, all that fun stuff. Everything was maxed out already on the second run. Then I did run 3 with a guide for the trophy. With a guide. It was a good guide too. It's power picks. Those guys are good guys. Good guys, the trophy hunters. It's a trophy hunting site. I went by the trophy hunting site, both on a Markov paper and by the video. I went by the video, by the paper. Everything was all good. It still didn't pop. So I went on a 4th run. Now granted, on the 3rd run, I went down the checkoff list, used the Groovatron on everybody, made sure everyone was there. It still didn't pop, like I said. On the 4th run, I exclusively used the Groovatron. I did not use any other weapon on the 4th run. The 4th one was entirely Groovatron, nothing else was there. I used only the Groovatron, and I went down the checklist again, exclusively using the Groovatron. So every single enemy I encountered in the game, I just used the Groovatron on them. And because I already had it maxed out, after the Groovatron was used, it explodes, killing the enemies. Because I was so high leveled, I didn't need to use any other weapon. I was perfectly fine with this. Everything was all good and dandy. And yet, even with the 4th perfect run that was exclusively Groovatron on every single enemy with the checkoff list, it still did not pop. No trophy. See, this is how the mentally unstable become murderers. I cannot believe it. I have just underneath I have 100% completion on the main game. As far as the game goes, there's nothing left to do in the game. Outside the game, and on my PlayStation Network, it will always show that I am missing that last trophy and the Platinum trophy that confirms all of the trophies are complete. There's nothing I can do about it. It won't pop. I've looked it up. Other people have the problem. They say it's glitched, it's broken. Other people say, oh, you're just not doing it right. You missed this enemy. Well, I went back. I did it 4 times, man. I did the last 2 runs specifically trying to go for that, and I used exclusively Groovatron on the last run. Exclusively Groovatron. I ended up doing 4.5 runs, with the 0.5 run being for the capture footage. That's it. And so I've done 4.5 runs, and I couldn't get this trophy to pop no matter what. I did everything right. I did everything right. I pay my taxes. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I can't do this. I can't. I can't do this. Good.